As we continue our investigation into the dirty tactics of the Obama campaign, now it's time for us to pull the curtain back and expose the one person who can be credited as the driving force behind the hateful tone that has been spewing from Team Obama and its surrogates.
The Obama campaign has been called one of the dirtiest in American history, and to many Americans, the face of that campaign is Stephanie Cutter.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Cutter. I'm the Deputy Campaign Manager here at Obama for America, and I wanted to arm you with the facts.
Willing to say anything necessary to get her candidate reelected, Cutter has waged a campaign of lies and slander. Now, it seems to be a continuing pattern for this political operative who has been using the same tactics for nearly a decade. Stephanie Cutter gained political experience volunteering for the presidential run of Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis in 1988. After college, Cutter began her political career with the Clinton administration in various communication roles, later moving on to work for Senator Ted Kennedy. In 2003, she received her first experience on the national level when she became communications director for the presidential campaign of Senator John Kerry. It was during this campaign that America saw Cutter's trademark tactics emerge.
He'd asked the middle class to pay more in taxes so that he could give another $250,000 tax cut to people making more than $3 million a year. It's like Robin Hood in reverse. It's Romney Hood.
But in 2004, it was Stephanie Cutter making the same claims then against President Bush. Appearing on Fox News, Cutter attacked President Bush, claiming he pursued a policy that, quote, put the wealthy on top and left the middle class behind. Now, Cutter's time with the Kerry campaign was rocky due to her reportedly difficult and surly personality. In fact, members of the campaign immortalized Cutter with the creation of a new verb. And according to Newsweek, to scutter means to try and control or dominate. The word has a more crude definition as well, to, blank up, a reference to her mishandling of the Swift boat controversy. In 2008, the once disgraced staffer was brought back from the dead by the Obama campaign. Again, Cutter's brutal campaign tactics in 2008 would foreshadow what has come 4 years later.
If John McCain and Governor Palin can stand up there and attack Barack Obama and use false attacks on us, we're just going to call them on it. You know, this is politics, and it's time that, you know, John McCain and Sarah Palin start telling the truth. This has to do with John McCain, the campaign's hypocrisy on women. I mean, they're having a false offense on putting lipstick on a pig when John McCain doesn't even stand for equal pay for women, doesn't stand for children's health insurance, thinks the economy is just going fine, where millions and millions of children are going without health care. I mean, where's the offense of that? I think that's what the American people are really offended at.
Sound familiar? Now it is Mitt Romney and even his wife receiving the left's attacks over women's issues. Having no issue with the wealth of former employers like Ted Kennedy and John Kerry, Cutter has led a crusade against presidential candidate Mitt Romney's wealth, even insisting he's broken the law.
Either Mitt Romney, through his own words and his own signature, was misrepresenting his position at Bain to the SEC, which is a felony, or he was misrepresenting his position at Bain to the American people to avoid responsibility for some of the consequences of his investments.
Following a firestorm of criticism, Cutter was forced to apologize for those remarks.
If you look at what the discussion was that we were having, you know, last week it was revealed that Mitt Romney signed his name on a series of SEC documents saying that he was the chairman, CEO, president, sole owner of Bain Capital. So, but then he's also telling the American people that he's not responsible for anything that happened there. So we're simply pointing out the fact that both things can't be true. If you're signing documents to the federal government, as we all know, that you knowingly know that aren't true, then that is a criminal offense. But we are not suggesting that Romney committed a crime here. We're actually suggesting he's not being upfront with the American people about what his involvement was with Bain.
Cutter has not only caught heat for her tactics, but her lies as well. Now, earlier this year, Priorities USA, a pro-Obama PAC, released the infamous anti-Romney ad in which a former steelworker, Joe Sopcich, blames the cancer death of his wife on Mitt Romney.
When Mitt Romney and Bain closed the plant, I lost my health care, and my family lost their health care. And a short time after that, my wife became ill, I don't know how long she was sick, and I think maybe she didn't say anything because she knew that we couldn't afford the insurance. She passed away in 22 days. I do not think Mitt Romney realizes what he's done to anyone. And furthermore, I do not think Mitt Romney is concerned.
When asked about the Obama campaign's connection with Sopcich and the ad, well, Cutter played dumb.
We don't have anything to do with Priorities USA, that by law we're not allowed to coordinate with them, and by law we don't have anything to do with their ads. I don't know the facts of when Joe Sopcich's wife got sick or when she died. But as I said before, I do know the facts of what Mitt Romney did with GS Steel. I do know the facts of how Joe Sopcich lost his job, lost his health care. The entire company went bankrupt.
But that was far from the truth, as Cutter had, in fact, previously hosted a teleconference with special guest Joe Sopcich.
A little while later, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. I had to put her in a county hospital because she didn't have health care. And when the cancer took her away, all I got was an enormous bill. When you look at what Mitt Romney did at places like GST Steel, you can tell he's only worried about one group of people, and that's the people like him, people at the top. You can't expect much more from someone who says he likes to fire people with no concern about what their family really means. Now I'll turn the call back over to Stephanie.
Great. Thank you, Joe. We really appreciate you and David sharing your experiences.
Always on the attack, even as she was caught lying herself, Cutter lashed out at the Republican presidential ticket following their recent convention.
It was a week of personal attacks, empty platitudes, and where the one thing that you were left with is they really think that lying is a virtue. And I think the American people disagree with that.
Are you saying they're just a bunch of liars?
No, Bob, I didn't say that.
Well, you said lying is a virtue.
Well, I heard a lot of things that weren't true last week. I think we can all agree with that.
Stephanie Cutter's tactics are more of the same out of the Democratic playbook, attempting to win votes by spreading fear and resentment.
Let's get the facts out, because it's important that you guys know the truth. These guys are going to say whatever it takes to tear down the president. They will literally say anything. So we're going to call their BS when we see it. And we need your help to call them on it, too, and to set the record straight.
And coming up next.
There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Soaring rhetoric, if only his actions spoke louder than his words. Coming up next, we look at the other weapon that the Obama campaign arsenal is using. That is race. A look at just how blatantly this re-election team and its surrogates have saturated our national discourse with racially charged attacks. And then it was the president's silver bullet in 2008. We exposed just how in the bag the liberal media is for the president. They abandon their roles as journalists and let the thrill up their legs absolve them of vetting this president 4 years ago. Well, tonight, we vet the Obama mania media's handling of this 2012 election cycle.